So, yesterday night, I actually noticed a deeper layer of programming. So, yesterday we talked about a deeper layer of remembrance, and today we'll talk about a deeper layer of programming. And I'm so thankful for this realization because that allows me to let go of it even further. And so, what it was I realized that my mind had associated thinking about so called problems as comfortable. And it sounds strange, but I realized that, and of course, there are no problems because everything is assisting us in our reality. But the mind had become fixated, or it keeps bringing up these so called issues or problems because that is more comfortable to it than just nothing. Because if I just free my mind, surrender my thoughts, then there's this subconscious layer of the program that says that now I'm vulnerable, now I can be attacked. If I'm not constantly thinking of the next possible worst case scenario, then can be under attack. And I realized this was coming from the war, from my ancestors going through that. And and in that case, of course, it makes sense to be uh, on the lookout for different things. But at this point in my life, there is really uh, no point. And it's this all of this programming, it's just been a lot to work through. And of course, in my book series, I've gone through it in real depth about all these different things. But this was noticing this thing about that the program was more comfortable than not, because when my mind was not operating the program, it associated that with being vulnerable, unsafe, open to attack. And so it would constantly bring up this program. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I kept reminding myself I am safe, it's all good, reminding myself of my higher self perspectives. And I also noticed this with my nervous system this morning, was that my nervous system was constantly coming up with something to be in fight or flight mode, because just being relaxed felt unsafe. Just being relaxed felt vulnerable. And it's the same programming, the same war programming, that if you just relax and are at ease, you're vulnerable to attack. So you have to be on high alert at all times, within your mind, in your body, ready to run, hide, fight, whatever. And so this was, of course, I knew of this program. Like I said, I've been working through it. But this part was this part about, for my system, it seemed like it was uncomfortable to just relax, to just be at ease. And I found this so profound, because it completely goes the opposite of what you're thinking is comfortable. Normally we think of being at ease, relaxing, that's comfortable. But when one is operating this programming, that's actually signifying that that is uncomfortable, and that it's more comfortable to be constantly trying to pick out what may be a threat in the environment, and doing that. And as soon as I was able to quiet this down, as soon as I had this awareness, and I was going for a walk, and all of a sudden, as soon as my mind quieted down, all of a sudden I heard bird songs like 360 degrees all around me, all different types of birds at all different levels. And it was like I could perceive birds around me like 360 degrees, like all around in different different heights, different distances from me. And it was such a cool experience. I was like, wow, like I don't think I've ever had that experience in my life, because when we're in our heads, we're not fully present. We're not fully getting to enjoy our reality. And so having this newfound awareness helped me to reach a new level of presence. And I have found this on my journey, is that the more I heal, the more present I am. So I remember when early on in my awakening, everyone's talking about, oh, be present, be present. But it's very difficult to just be present, as I'm sure you've realized. And I've learned to look at how present I am as kind of like a gauge of my healing. And also can be a gauge of how in alignment we are. That being said, sometimes it is fun to think about fun things, think about create beautiful things for the future. But in kind of a nutshell, the easier it is to be present kind of is a rough gauge for how we're doing on our healing process. And so it was just profound to hear all those bird songs. And then it came to me that there's nothing wrong with the mind. And a couple of videos ago, I was talking about the mind throwing monkey wrenches. And I just wanted to clarify that, because I don't want to ever make anything guilty. That's one of the whole things I'm here to share, is that nothing is guilty, that everything is innocent. And there's nothing wrong with the mind. The mind was programmed to be operating these programs, these patterns. And so the mind was just doing what we told it to do. And I say we because we chose our parents because of their programming, so that we would have the experience of working through it. We consented to that. So there's no guilt anywhere. And the mind is just perfectly doing what it has been instructed to do. So then it came to me that all that I have to do is re-instruct it. Give the mind new instructions. And I know that I'm laying new neural pathways and whatnot in my brain of all these new things, and bringing in my higher self perspective whenever I notice myself deviating. And the more we do this, the more we maintain a certain level of vibration, and then the more new things will drop in to get us to the next one, kind of like today, and having these realizations. So it's a process of letting go of these things. And so it's important to stay diligent, and also not get down on yourself when you notice this happening, because your system, your mind, your brain, it's all for you. It's all doing what we programmed it to do. So we can't fault it at all because it's all just working perfectly. It's just doing what it was told to do. But as the creator of our lives, we can tell it to do something different. And we can bring awareness to these old patterns and shift them and basically allow them to dissolve. And so as I was coming out of my walk, I noticed a very big raven. And to me, a raven, in that case, signified death. And I was so happy because I knew the raven was letting me know that that part of me was dying, that I had really, it was a confirmation that I had really reached a new level of awareness by becoming aware of this thing about comfort and also being able to reprogram the mind in a new way. And here's the thing. At the beginning of this, of learning to just let all the thoughts go, learning to relax, and it feels uncomfortable, this is when you just have to feel that and keep trusting, keep letting yourself know that you are loved, you are supported, and also know that when you intend to let go of a program, it's going to go. It just may take some time and may take some levels and may take different perspectives, but it's going to go eventually. So you can trust that completely. That once you have awareness that something is not serving you, that it's going to be gone sooner or later, really. So just knowing that will give you peace and hopefully allow you to relax, knowing that it will be gone eventually. And so then I was continuing on my walk, and I was thinking in my head, like every path crossing, whether that's human, animal, whatever, every path crossing is for my benefit. And I reminded myself that everything is to bring me more joy. So if I meet someone or something and have a joyful experience, well, that's more joy. Yet if I meet someone or something that is triggering or brings up some things that do not feel good, that is showing me what parts of me are out of alignment that I can shift into alignment so I can have more joy. So really everything is designed to bring us more joy, aka make our lives better. And so I reminded myself, I was like, oh my gosh, like, so it's reminding ourselves of this stuff over and over and over, and then it becomes this new default. And once I did that, I could relax on a whole other level. And I was thinking, you know, whatever crosses my path that not only benefits me is helping me. And when you think of something helping you, well, that's just such a beautiful thought. And then I was imagining putting myself back a couple of generations back and being in the wartime, but having the mentality of everything is helping me, and how that may have changed things and how that may have made things better. Of course, everyone did the absolute best that they could, and I'm not saying to change anything there, but what I did this is I am attempting to heal the past from the present by bringing my mindset of the present into the past. Even if it's not the life that I lived, but my ancestors lived, bringing that back to heal all of this all the way along, so it ceases to come up. And the interesting thing is, I was thinking about this. I was thinking about that, about every path crossing benefits me, because I knew there was a dog that always barked so much when I passed this certain house. And but when I was thinking about, oh, everything's helping me, I had actually completely forgotten about it. So there was that loop that came up, and then what I reinforced my higher self perspective, loop completely vanished. But as I walked by the house, I heard the dog start barking. But the great thing was, it wasn't outside, because normally it's outside and it's this huge black dog, and it is so loud. And I don't mind it. Like, every time I pass it, I send it love from my heart center. But it just barks and barks and barks. And it was in the house this time, but it's still barking. It just goes ballistic. And I was thinking about it. I was like, this dog just loses it when anyone is walking by. Like, I couldn't hurt a fly. Like, literally, if I find a small bug, I will free it. I will bring it outside. I do not kill anything. And like, I've only given this dog love, and every dog love, and so there's no reason for this dog to be barking at me, is what I'm getting at. I am not a threat to this dog. I do not want to hurt it in any way. I do not want to hurt its owner. I do not want to anything to do with them, quite frankly. And so, but the owner, she's really nice. And one time, when she was quieting the dog down, she let me know that the dog, it can't see very well. And so I was putting this together in my mind, thinking, okay, the dog goes ballistic at basically anything. Why? Because it perceives it that it could be a threat, but it doesn't have clear vision. And then I realized this was a spiritual metaphor. This dog was a metaphor for this program. That literally anything that the mind perceives as a potential threat, it just goes ballistic. It starts looping, it starts going into fight or flight, it starts making all sorts of scary stories, it starts making escape plans and all this stuff. And so the mind is like the dog barking. And why? Is because it doesn't have clear vision. It has these big dark glasses. It can't even, and they're all scratched, and it can't even see through, and it makes everything look scary. Everything looks like a threat. And that is this program. And I realized, oh my gosh. It's like, I finally got it. I've walked by that dog so many times. So many times. And although I send it love literally every single time, it always barks at me. And what can I say? I would prefer if it didn't, quite frankly. And if it barked or not, I would still send it love. I don't just send it love to try to control it. Although I guess you could say I was doing that in the beginning, but now I love all animals so much. But yeah, so I had this epiphany that this dog was a spiritual metaphor for this program. This program, it has these, it can't even see. And so any little thing in the external reality that it perceives that could be a threat, it just goes ballistic, even though what it's perceiving in the external reality isn't a threat at all, aka me walking by the house. And so I was like, wow. And then, I kid you not, 5 minutes down the road, I see the sweetest little dog, this young girl and this sweet little dog. And I think, oh, a sweet little dog that I can pet, and it's going to be so nice. And so uh, as the girl comes, the dog runs to me, and I kneel down to say hi. And then it just goes ballistic. It just starts barking at me, and I'm like, oh, it's all good, and then it just keeps barking like that I'm like some major threat, even though I only have love for the dog, I only have love for the child. There's nothing that I would ever do. And so it was the perfect confirmation of the metaphor I just realized. The metaphor for this program that creates these threats, sees everything as a threat, basically as a potential enemy, and then creates stories around it and all of this. And it is such a lot of energy being in this survival programming. And I thought, okay, so what is the remedy? And then I thought of the dogs. And when I was young, I was a bit fearful of dogs. And what a friend of mine told me completely changed how I interacted with dogs. And what the friend said was, just ignore it and it'll go away. And I took that advice, and it worked like a charm. Like every time a dog, I felt a bit fearful, I would just ignore the dog, and then it wouldn't bother me, it would just go away. And so I was like, with this program, when it starts going all wild and it puts the mind on high alert and it's trying to kick in the fight or flight nervous system, just ignore it. Just ignore it and it'll go away. And I realized, wow, just let it be. Just, having the newfound awareness that we don't have to take it seriously, and just ignore it and let it be. And also come back into our heart center, because we know that from there we will receive the real intuitive guidance that is best for us on how to navigate the scenario. And when we are in our heart, we are by default in the present. And so I realized, wow, when these thoughts come up, these so-called problems, there's nothing I need to fight. There's nothing to overwrite it. There's nothing to, push, try, force, try to control. Just ignore it. Just ignore that program and it'll go away. And I realized that whenever we, just like a dog, when, say, it's acting out and we're giving it attention, it's going to keep on coming. But when we ignore it, when we stop entertaining, it just goes away because it's not getting that attention. And I realized this thing that happened as a child was teaching me things on multiple on multiple levels. Like, it was teaching me about energy. And I was like, wow, so this now I can take into my daily life when this starts acting up, I can see it for what it is. It's an old program, it's an old pattern. It is attempting to keep me safe, but I already am safe. And it can also signal me to go into my heart and just allow myself to be guided by my heart, because when I'm in that place, I always feel so safe and I always know that I am safe. Because when our awareness is in our heart, we have these knowings of these deeper truths, I guess is the best way to put it, is and so yeah, there's nothing wrong with the mind. Our minds are perfect and beautiful as they are. They're just doing what we instructed them to do. And as we shift and as we reprogram, the mind and the brain, it's all catching up. Yet we have to be the ones that lead the way. And so I'm going to put it on a leash. Tell it what to do. so yeah, that is the message that has come through to share today. And yeah, what a message it has been. What a day it's been. And I will leave it at that. Sending you much love on your journey. Take care and have a wonderful day. Ciao.